Hi there. Ever wondered why our voices sound so smooth and crisp?
Of course you did.
Well, no two voices are alike. Everyone needs a microphone that fits their personal style. But it's not always easy to find the perfect match for your voice.
But don't worry.
We'll help you with that. For sure. Shure is running their Elevate Your Voice campaign with a very funny quiz to find the right mic for your voice. Check it out. Link down below. Peace!
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Life After SAE podcast with my beautiful co-host Glen.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Curdy. Hope you're well. I'm doing fine, and we're here with our new guest, Nina Nikolic. Is that right?
Yeah, it just depends how you pronounce it. I don't care, really.
How do you pronounce your name, your surname?
Nikolic.
Nikolic. I'm sorry. Nikolic.
And several other names in primary school we do not need to dig into.
Okay, no worries.
My parents are Serbian. They met in high school. Isn't that cute?
Oh, that's cute, yeah. All right. What a great name. Okay. So first of all, you're in Australia right now, in Melbourne, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if you're in California at the moment or back in Australia. Because I read, different stuff on the internet.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, my LinkedIn profile's correct. I don't know where it might be different, but I might need to suss that out.
Maybe I messed it up.
That could be why a lot of my previous colleagues have been very confused in the past year or so.
Okay. Maybe I got confused. Could be. You never know. So first and foremost, we'd like our guests to introduce themselves shortly. So there's three main questions we have. They go like, who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it?
Oh, no, this is going to take so long. Hello, I'm Nina Nikolic and or KidKerrigan, depending on where and whence you've known me from. My main shindig now is doing voiceover work for games and audio dramas and animations, and I'm working on a few audiobooks as well. I also do content creation. I did it a lot more full-time previously, but since I started moving into voice work, I made that my priority and had to go really casual on the content stuff, just trying to preserve my voice mostly. And why do I do it? Oh my God, I could go into a 3-day-long spiel as to how I found myself over moving into this
we're going to talk
career.
about that today, though.
Yeah, I just heckin' love it so much. I was like one of those super introverted kids who just wanted to sing and dance and do all of the things, but I was so shy and I was like, other people are doing it, I don't need to do that, that's fine. And then I was really creative, painted, played the piano, loved reading stories, all that kind of stuff. And then kind of lost my way a little bit, I think, as I started growing up. And then when I found voiceover, it was like something clicked and my life came full circle, and every single little thing about it I enjoy. That's why I do it.
Wow.
I enjoy the acting. I enjoy the business stuff. I enjoy the emails. I enjoy the relationship building, the creativity that comes with it, the technical stuff that comes with it. I love everything about it.
I get that. I totally get it. Because I'm working in the same field, so I got you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Nice. And literally, we just talked about your email day. You just finished checking your mails on Monday, right? It just took you a whole day?
Oh, yeah. Monday is kind of like my admin day because it's still Sunday in the rest of the world. So I mean, the freelance life is you're still kind of working on weekends as well, or any given moment that you can. But generally speaking, Monday is usually quiet for any new incoming work or auditions or opportunities or whatever. So I usually try to get the finances out of the way, work on my goals for the week, and
do the boring stuff, right? The non-creative stuff, maybe.
The boring stuff. Yeah, that you end up spending 1,000 years on, scheduling social media posts and I still email throughout the rest of the week as well. 90% of the job is emails and business stuff and finances and invoicing and legal and contracts.
There's a little hack though. Sometimes I schedule my mail, so I write them on Monday, but I schedule them for Wednesday morning, so they think I'm sending it, but I'm not.
That too, because I hate being that really annoying person who kind of makes people feel like they have to reply to the email at 3 a.m. on a Thursday when that's just me, okay? When I choose to send the email, that's on me.
True.
You don't need to reply at any time that is inconvenient for you, ever.
Exactly. So, so we're here because we're all SAE alumni, right? Kind of. But before you went to
kinda.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Before you went to the SAE, you also made a diploma in makeup and makeup for film and television. Is that right?
So I've done so many things. Oh my goodness, I've done so many things. Okay, so first I had a certificate in applied design from Swinburne because I was like, I'm going to be a graphic designer and like blah blah blah, because that's kind of where I got pigeonholed into in my high school education. I kind of got pigeonholed into this weird, like, you're going to be a graphic designer and there are really rigid rules, and it wasn't very creative, so it wasn't really the best. My dad was a photographer when I was growing up, and when I was kind of going through my teenage years and into young adulthood. So I did the makeup course as a way to help him with stuff. So I did a lot of his makeup for his shoots, photoshopping his work and stuff like that,
Sure,
admin stuff
sure.
for his work. He doesn't really do it anymore though, unfortunately. But that was fun. And then I realised I didn't really enjoy the kind of, I don't know, there was some vibe with like working with the models and the designers and all this stuff that it just wasn't for me, that particular industry. And then I saw an ad for games and stuff. I was like face deep into the Burning Crusade when it actually came out, not when it's out now the second time, but like the original first time that World of Warcraft, the Burning Crusade came out, and I was playing that 14 hours a day. I saw an ad on Facebook for gaming colleges.
Right.
Like animation and game design and stuff like that. And I was like, I've always been, like, my dad took us to a conference when I was like 5.
Wow, that's
That
early.
was a conference to do with like, it was about like tech design, animation, like technical art, all these huge conference in Sydney. And this little like 5 to 8 year old me, however old I was literally just sitting there and just
In awe, yeah.
Wow.
yeah, like you would think I would be a pain in the ass and yelling and screaming the whole time. No, I was completely enthralled with everything that I saw.
Oh, that's cute.
And I've always loved that stuff so much. So I decided to, at the time it was Quantum.
Yeah, do you know where the difference is between Quantum and SAE? I think we should know, Kurt, but we don't.
Yeah, can you explain this? It's quite interesting because many people don't know.
So as far as I remember, because it was about 10 to 12 years ago now. It was
That's
a long
fine, that's
time
fine,
ago.
okay.
So back in my day,
Here we go.
Quantum it was the place where you go for animation and game design and programming the video games. That's where you went for that.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember if it was while I was still there or as I was leaving, they made a partnership with SAE, which at the time I believe it was like more audio film kind of school. So like Quantum it wasn't even multimedia per se. It was like specifically gaming interactive media streams. So they were all degrees in interactive entertainment, and the streams were animation, which is the degree that I did, game design and programming or coding. And then SAE was like close by to us, but they did like film, audio production, I think like multimedia design and stuff like that. And then they ended up getting together and they had a baby. And now it's...
I love this so much.
So technically, I believe historically, if I were to look at what my accreditation is, I'm assuming it would now be an SAE accreditation. I have no idea.
Whatever.
There was some crazy thing with my visa when I was in California that I don't even know what happened because I was moving back here anyway. But
Okay. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Because we're freelancing. No one is asking for your diploma for your bachelor. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, the thing was, I when I was in California, because you mentioned you were asking if I was in Melbourne, I moved there for a community management position with Bandai Namco because that was kind of where I ended up going from my degree in animation. I wasn't as talented at art and animation as I would have liked, and so but I was really good at like rallying the team, doing the project management stuff. Everyone kind of got me to do their PR, community project management, leading the team, all those things. So I ended up going to community management for video games, which is why I ended up there.
All right. Okay. Wow. I see. All makes sense now in my head.
Yes. And then I was like, I don't like working in an office. I like working for myself. Where? And I missed my family and I was a big baby and I came home.
Okay. That's all right. So, but let's go back for a minute. So you went to the SAE Quantum in 09 till 11, right? 2011. Is that correct?
Apparently, I'm looking at it, yeah. I think
you're just checking your own LinkedIn right now.
Yes, because I don't remember anything.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh my God, ask anyone in my Twitch community if I can remember literally anything ever. The amount of times they've reminded me of the most menial crap that has happened on my own stream is beyond me. I don't know how these people remember.
It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
I know.
What?
I was like, guys, I've been looking for this book and I can't remember the name of it for like forever. And they're like, yeah, it's this one. You asked us the same thing last month. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I mean, same with
sorry.
me in our pre-talk. I was just asking, are you sitting in your living room with the green screen in the back? Because I saw it on YouTube. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that was like a few years ago now, I think. But yeah, I think, so our degree went for 2 years. It was like 3 trimesters a year for 2 years, but I was in the intake that had like a bonus trimester. So it was kind of like just a tiny little bit less work to ease you into the severe crunch that is the 2 years of a lot of work, which wouldn't have had to be that much work if my PC played nice and didn't make me roll around the floor crying at several points. But yeah.
I love the honesty. So after you finished graduating, how did you transition into the industry? What happened then?
Oh heck!
Do you remember at all?
It was it was a combination of being like super lucky and just involved. It's funny because I kind of get the same questions now to like, how did you get into voiceover? Which is like a whole other
we can talk about that later.
Too.
For sure.
Yeah. But for the games industry, I went to the independent game developer meetups that we have here in Melbourne, which are still run by Giselle Rosman, who is a wonderful superstar woman here in Melbourne. We just had a new one like 2 weeks ago. They stopped for a while because of COVID, and 2 weeks ago we just had a new one, and then we went back into lockdown again. So that was really cool. But that was the first one so many of us have been to for a really long time. But I went to those meetups to like meet other developers in the industry and met a guy there called Sam Mayo. He worked at an indie developer called Firemint at the time, and offered me an internship because I did like game jams and stuff. And he was like one of the judges on there. So I got an internship through that. And then...
And this is how you got into EA, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. This story
okay.
is like super convoluted because of these little things. But so I originally had my internship at Firemint, but then when they wanted to bring me on, just after my internship had happened, EA bought Firemint.
Okay.
And so they acquired Firemint, the studio. They also acquired Iron Monkey before that, which was a different studio. Mm-hmm. Brought me on as a contractor for Firemint for their games to do customer service specifically, support queries and stuff like that. And then eventually, I got brought on full-time as a contractor, and then we merged the studios, and I made a joke at some point that it was like, fire monkeys, and then they called it fire monkeys.
Really?
And then
Wow.
yeah, and then because like Iron Monkey and Fireman, it's called Fire Monkeys. Yeah. So yeah, that studio was made, and then I just kind of weaseled my way in there on a permanent basis and sat around for 5 years or something.
Sat around. I mean, you worked on like the Real Racing, Need for Speed, the Sims franchise. Doesn't sound like sitting around.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about what you did there? Maybe on a couple of games.
These are big titles.
Yeah, it's big names, isn't it?
Can I remember all this stuff? There was a point where I had 34,000 emails in my personal inbox.
On a Monday.
Yeah, probably on a Monday at some point after something broke on like 17 different games.
God damn it.
And I was like, please, you guys, we need a better way to do this. So it was just me for a very long time. I was the only person doing customer support, and old mate Sam was the only one doing community management. And eventually we grew our team. So it was lots of emails and angry people and mildly disgruntled people who were quite nice.
Well, wait.
Huh?
You were the only one at that moment for
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. I can't imagine how many emails you would get. Eventually even got some
There were
from me
quite
or
a
something.
few. Eventually, finally, we got an automated system where I could kind of tell the hundreds and hundreds of people experiencing the same issue that it was fixed all at one time. But there were circumstances.
Have you ever heard about the Q&A?
Well, there were circumstances sometimes where, like, if there was like a small glitch or something and people had something wrong with their accounts, we didn't have to, but we damn sure went out of our way to go through each person's separate account and circumstances to try to fix what was wrong. So, like, it was a lot more work, I think, than people realized, and probably more work than we had to do. But that's kind of like the quality we wanted to give at the time. So,
Keep the customer happy.
yeah.
In the end.
Yeah, and like we had a really great community of people who just love the game so much, and it's kind of that whole like how much people love the game versus the passion coming through sometimes, and you're just like, we know that you love the game a lot, and so we're being like really patient with you, but please, I beg, give me like 5 minutes.
I get it. So in the meantime, you started streaming on Twitch,
Yes.
which was in 2014, right?
Probably. Wait, I had my 7-year Twitch anniversary last Friday.
Oh, congratulations. Nice.
Congratulations.
Yay.
Thanks. It was really fun. It's very chill now. It's nowhere near like this massive, crazy community people like to think that I have. But we're cute. We're cozy. We chill.
Wow, 7 years. Like you were ahead of the game 7 years ago because everyone is on Twitch now.
Yeah, that's impressive.
I wish I had the business sense that I have now 7 years ago.
Sure.
Ooh.
Cha-ching.
It took a long time to build up the confidence to be as business savvy as I am now,
I bet.
for sure.
I bet. Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about that later. We really have to. But first I have a question. The name KidKerrigan, where does it come from?
So before I started streaming, I was also doing pole dancing, like pole performance for fitness. I was like, this is so fun, and that's one of the avenues.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah, my
isn't it?
girlfriend does this.
And
It's amazing. It's super hard also.
It really
it's such
is,
a hard
yeah.
sport.
It's super hot.
Oh my God. That's where my injury came from that I was talking about earlier. I'll circle back to that. But
It's so easy to have injuries.
Oh, big time, yeah. It was one of those avenues that I started realizing that I enjoyed doing the more creative stuff again. Like I enjoyed just like moving to the music and like the strength training that came with it. We were just chatting before the podcast about not being able to get to the gym and like how much I miss lifting weights and stuff because I can't go for runs like Glen is currently because I injured myself while I was doing that. So I ended up getting like it's kind of like one of my vertebrae has like it's got like arthritis basically. So it throws my whole hip and stuff out of whack and gets very painful if I don't look after myself. But yeah, so I was doing that and I finally got enough confidence in me to do a performance in front of like other humans somewhere. So if you scroll like all the way back to the very beginning of my KidKerrigan Instagram, or I think it's now my Voices of Nina one actually, because I swapped them. If you scroll all the way back to the start, which will take like 10,000 years and no one ever does it, there are some photos from when I was doing that, from when I was performing, and the song that I was performing to was from the Bastion video game. I think it was like We're Coming Home or something like that. It was a beautiful, beautiful song. And so Kid comes from like the kid in Bastion, the video game, because that was like my first thing that I did under that name. And then Kerrigan comes from the fact that I just freaking love Kerrigan from StarCraft because she's the most badass bitch I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, a fangirl, okay.
And she's just awesome. Yeah, which came in really handy when I started streaming Heroes of the Storm on that account. So
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what kind of games are you streaming? Heroes of the Storm? What else?
I used to stream Heroes of the Storm a lot, but now I don't stream very often. It's just a couple of hours on Tuesday nights and Friday nights. So on Friday nights, it's mostly going to be Final Fantasy 14 because I'm just face rolling all in and around that game right now. I can't stop. And then on Tuesdays, if there's maintenance and I can't get on Final Fantasy, then it'll probably be like Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering Arena or something like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of like whatever I feel like, but I'm such a creature of habit that usually I just feel like playing those, and it's what I'm doing outside of work hours anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And also you raised like over $5,000 on Twitch for a good cause, didn't you?
Oh, for charity
what was it?
stuff.
For charity, Wow.
I don't even, there were like a few different charity events I've done. But
That's a lot of money.
that stat, I can't specifically remember which one it was because I've done like Child's Play, I've done St. Jude. There was like a couple of other ones. For TwitchCon one year, my partner and I just happened, I don't know how they managed to pair us up because apparently it was random, but me and him got on the same team to represent, what was it called? To Write Love on Her Arms at the charity event at TwitchCon as well, to play like a game of Pictionary on stage. And I was like, did you put us together on purpose? They're like, no, this was totally random. I'm like, he's my boyfriend. And they're like, really? Oh my God, wow. And so
What a
it was
coincidence.
like really funny. Yeah, it was the biggest coincidence because they had so many people enter for that.
Sure, yeah. I can only imagine. Wow. Funny.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. But again, and that's a lot of money, so good on you for raising that for charity.
Oh,
Pretty
thank
nice.
you. I'd love to do more, but it just kind of feels like it gets to the point where you kind of end up getting charity fatigue, I suppose. Like I'm not sure now that my community has shrunk quite a bit because of the changes to the game ecosystems and just how everything's gone through COVID, when I had no energy to even show my face online for a very long period of time.
Yeah, of course.
I'm kind of like, I try to share as many of those causes as I can privately and to bring them to, like, on the Discord server, for example, bring some awareness to them. I've started preferring people giving to those causes because they believe in them rather than giving to those causes because I'm writing someone's name on my forehead.
That's a good point.
For example. If that makes sense. Like,
Absolutely.
I've moved into the space where I prefer to do it for the cause versus for the song and dance of it. And it's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with the song and dance part of it. Some people do it hugely successfully. I just don't know if it's for me anymore to,
right, I get it.
to take that angle with it. Yeah.
Cool. And talking about your personal life and your outer appearance on the internet, in 2017, you moved to California, right? And you kind of revealed your real identity to your community. What happened there?
It was so weird because, like, I kind of had to because my whole schedule was going to change. My, like, when I was working at EA, I wasn't 100% sure how that relationship between what I do in that space versus what I do in corporate kind of mingles, especially because I was such a front-facing person. So I had to like hide behind my, pseudonym the whole time. But then when I got the job at Bandai Namco, I was very upfront with the fact that I did it and that I would need to be able to continue doing it if I was going to work with them. That was like one of my things that I really wanted because it was going really well and I had a really great relationship with Blizzard with that stuff too. And they were so generous and so kind with like allowing me to do that. There was like, a couple of caveats here and there, which is like the regular stuff, like don't do sponsored streams for competitors and things like that. But like the fact that they let me do it at all is apparently unheard of.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah, just to make it clear again for the audience who's listening right now, you're sponsored by Blizzard, right? And you almost have 20K followers on Twitch.
I was, yeah. Well, it depends. So we had, when I was streaming Heroes of the Storm, their community management team at the time was really big on basically setting up a stream team for the game because it's such a good game for that type of activation, ongoing activation. So like having like viewer games and things like that and all that stuff going on. It's a really great game for that. Unfortunately, they had a few rounds of layoffs since then. And so that program just kind of like disintegrated. It was just kind of like, so who's our point of contact now? And there is air there.
Oh, okay.
But which kind of sucked. But like they still have a regional team here as well, which works with me a little bit. Unfortunately, they had to let go of a couple of people as well. So now those people are at other companies that are still working with me on other things.
Okay.
But yeah,
it's all messed up a little.
Yeah. But that's the thing though. It's all about like the people who you end up working with, which crosses so much into voiceover too. Like I might be doing voice work for someone at one company, they end up moving somewhere else. I continue doing work for them and then this person asked me to work for them too. So it's very similar that way.
Absolutely. All right. So that was 2016, moving to California, revealing your real identity kind of. Then.
Yeah. So circling back, it was because like I knew that my schedule would change because of my full-time job. And so therefore I had to say, hey guys, this schedule is going to be completely different now. And this is why I'm moving. Things are going to be weird and all that kind of stuff. And so that happened when I moved over there.
Right. Being super transparent. Nice. And then in 2018, you said to yourself, okay, content creation is my main focus right now. And I'm going to start working as a voiceover artist. How and why did that happen? Tell us about it.
So before that happened, I moved back because I missed family and everything. And I was just like, I'm just going to go back home. My content stuff seemed to be in a good place. So I was going to go full time for a little while and see how it goes. Because I'm in a place where I have the liberty to do that because my parents still have our family home and everything, which is where I am right now. I'm a middle-aged lady living with her parents. It's fine.
Nina.
I made a joke to my dad the other day. I was like, hey, Dad. And he's like, yeah, what? Did you know I'm middle-aged? And he's like, no, no, not happening. No,
Still
you're
my
not.
little daughter.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're a child. Get out.
It's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
So I figured I would see how it went. I got partnered on Twitch as well. And it got to the point where when I was playing video games and things on the internets, I just kept getting the same kind of messages in chat pop up of like, oh, was that you doing that voice or was that from the game? Or like, that kind of thing. Or like, you should try voice acting or whatever. And I'm like, I literally know nothing about acting, but I guess like if you guys are saying that, maybe I'll look into it and see maybe. So this comes to the whole like, how did you start in voiceover? How can I start in voiceover?
Right.
Where do you find all of your work? Literally, one of the first things I did was just to look at collaborative websites because at that time I had heard of Daisy had just started, Macy Williams' company, collaborative creative platform. Also, Hit Record had been a thing for a really long time, but I never really got onto it because it didn't really sit on my radar until I was looking for it, I suppose. It was just a good time for me to do that. So I just jumped on there, and they're not necessarily auditions. It's just kind of like on those particular platforms, you're already collaborating. It's just that they might not use what you've given them in the final thing. Or it's kind of like showing them what you can do, and they may use it, they may not. Someone else might use it for something, that kind of stuff. You're just kind of lending your voice or lending your art or your editing skills or whatever.
It's just project-based.
Music. Yeah, exactly. It's just a collaborative platform for people to make stuff. Like Newgrounds too. I've started doing stuff on there too. We just had a collaboration that came out last week or something that's had like stupid amounts of views and was featured on the front page and all this stuff. So one of the creators who edited and produced that sent me a DM and was like, we have the perfect spot for you. Can you please do this for me? And I was like, I'll have a look at it. And then I was like, yes, I will do that. And it was hilarious. You should check it out. But yeah, so these collaborative platforms was where I started. And I just started like, I would just find a script someone wanted voiced, check out which characters they had, and just try to do the thing. And the first one that I got cast in was one that I actually have to record an episode for this week, is called Cicada 3000. It's basically it's called a comedy space drama. It's an audio drama about a computer AI called Wayward, which is me, and her human friend Diego going on intergalactic hilarious adventures. And I love this project so much. It is written so beautifully. Listen. Well, he knows I love him. It's fine. This dude, he writes like the best way for me to describe it is kind of like some space intergalactic, like, what's the name of the show? Monty Python.
Oh, yeah, Monty Python.
It's that kind of humor.
Cool.
Oh, love that.
And it is brilliant. There is a narrator on the project who is exceptional. He does like all the fake ads and stuff throughout the podcast and does the narration. Is beautiful. Diego's voice actor is phenomenal. Like literally this whole, it's my most favorite project ever. And it was just one that I jumped on and was like, I guess we'll just like see if they like this. So yeah, that's how I got a taste for it. And that was just using my streaming setup. I had like nothing like this then.
So real quick, how is your AI character sounding like? How do you do the voice? Is there any post-production involved, or are you doing it?
He does the post-production, yeah.
Okay.
I just sent him the raw files of my character being this like airy-fairy little British computer lady.
Nice.
And then he does like all of the effects and stuff on it. You can actually hear it on my demo reel at the end.
Yeah, we'll throw that into the show notes so everyone will check it out.
You heard that one?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Diego and Wayward at the end of my demo reel.
Okay, I got it.
And then, so I started doing that, and then slowly over time just started trying to find more and more stuff, making more connections. I ended up there was a guy who I went to Quantum with, or SAE. He's now doing audio design at somewhere magnificent. I think it's one of the EA studios.
He will be mad when he hears it.
Avalanche Studios. And he actually, sorry, my dog's going insane at the moment, but that's fine. So I reached out to Trevor and was like, oh, hey, do you think, because we have a mutual friend who we met at the independent game developer meetups called Kevin Powell, who's also a wonderful, marvelous voice actor and has been for very many, many, many years. He's the big senpai man. And I was like, do you think that he might do some stuff with me or something? And Trevor was like, well, actually, he runs like workout groups and stuff. And then I was like, oh my God, really? I would love to do that. So I got into his workout groups where he gives us a script and directs us and does all that kind of thing, to get feedback on our acting, started looking at actual acting classes. By the time I did that, we were like face deep in COVID, and I'm basically just trying to soak in all the piece of information that I can about everything to do with it. I Googled so much research about how to set up all the electronic stuff. I've started reading every acting book I can get my hands on. Like, that's how I got into it.
Yes, I'm super curious. What's your take on taking acting lessons versus just getting into voiceover? Like, for instance, I did. I never learned it, but it's working out. And I used to train whilst doing the job.
I think it depends on your intuition and a bit on your background. I mean, like, I'm not like a professional master chef level person by any means, but from my experience, because I actually had this conversation with a client recently who I was working with, who I can't talk about, unfortunately, but hopefully eventually I can share it. But we had the best conversation because this person is an actor at heart. And so I finally, it was like I had one of those moments where I was like, you want to nerd out on acting with me right now? Like, we did the session and then spent like an hour just like talking about how awesome acting is and how to find good information and
Beautiful.
Nice.
what stuff to look at and how amazing Uta Hagen is and like all this kind of stuff. Acting lessons are important in terms of, like, for me, having different tools of ways to do things. So for me, personally, it depends on what kind of acting lessons I'm getting. If I'm working with someone who is like, this is the rule and this is the only thing you're capable of and this is like the only way to do it and whatever, my personality is really impressionable and I will take those rules as hard fact, which is completely ridiculous because acting is one of the most creative pursuits ever.
True.
But I honestly believe that it also depends so much on intuition, on empathy, on imagination, on like your ability to really put yourself there in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the acting lessons teach you ways to do that. And also, in addition to that, when people keep saying like, oh, yeah, you can do a voice, but that doesn't mean you can voice act, there's so many things within that sentence that means. There's protecting your voice. There's like, how do you actually, it's like, yeah, you can do different voices, but do you know how you're actually making those different voices? Because if you don't know, then how can you expand on that?
Yeah.
How can you make even more of them, like, on top of your repertoire you already have?
Yeah. What about pronunciation? Some people have a great voice, but they can't pronunciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like accents, dialects, like there are different classes for those. There's like different types of ways that you can bring different reactions out of yourself. Like,
breathing.
That's the other thing too. Yeah, breathing technique, breathing support, vocal health, like so
much.
many things there are to learn about. And I feel like I'm just scratching the surface on so much of those things. But it's so helpful in terms of like finding ways to, like this client that I worked with specifically, it was just like, vaguely speaking, a live directed session. I usually give like 3 different, it's kind of like when I provide my audition, it'll be like, you say the same lines but 3 different ways kind of thing. And so after most of the takes, he was like, I was about to give you a note, but you did it. So don't worry, let's move on. Like, kind of like I was gonna suggest doing it this way, but then you did it. So like, let's move on kind of thing. So, and they said that not everyone is capable of doing that. They've worked with other artists who literally say the same thing the same way 3 times.
Why though?
Wow.
True.
Yeah, which is like, sure, have one for safety, but that's the thing, is those classes help you reach deeper into your repertoire and be able to like surprise both yourself and your director in how you approach a certain thing. You can say the same line in the same circumstances 3 different ways for different reasons. You can say it because you're scared and you're retreating back. You can say it because you're scared and you're like trying to threaten them back. Like, so many different things.
Yeah. And your client is going to be happy, especially when you under-promise and over-deliver, right?
Under-promise and over-deliver, yeah. Every time. That's the mantra. Stick it on a Post-it note and slap it on your forehead every morning when you look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Nice. And what are the most common jobs you're doing in voiceover? Like image film, advertisements, games, you name it.
Right now, I'm still so early in my career that most of my stuff has historically been like podcasts and audio dramas, things like that. They're a lot simpler for people to make at an entry level because they don't have any visual elements. So like a lot of people who are just starting out with this thing, which is so strange because it's like a completely different format. So like I've done some like really cheap and easy audio dramas, and then I also did work on Earth Eclipsed, which hasn't come out yet, but they're premiering at Tribeca of all places.
All right.
Which I didn't even know what the significance of that was until I mentioned it to my boyfriend, and he's like, "Are you serious?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why? Like, what kind of film festival is this?" It says me from my little bunker that is this little meter by meter square holes that I never get out of ever. And apparently it's like this huge thing, and I'm like, oh,
God damn it.
Cool. Yeah, so like there's like a spectrum of all kinds of media, and they're all different, completely different. But that's where I started doing like more audio drama type stuff, which gave me a lot of practice for audiobooks. I do a few different audiobooks too, and doing a lot more game stuff too, which I love because I love video games. That's where all my
super cool
favorite things came from.
Yeah. Nice.
And a few animations too, but those things take forever, especially when you've got a one-person team.
Yeah, lip syncing. Woo.
Oh God.
If I could assist my friends in their endeavour for finishing their animations that I feature in so I can share it sooner, I would.
For sure.
But in the meantime, I'll take all the work in progress stuff and promote the heck out of it as much as I can.
Fair enough.
Okay. I think we're slowly moving towards the end of the podcast, and I promised, I think, our listeners that we also talk about the business sides of this.
Oh,
and
a promise.
It's super important.
It is. Oh, God.
Many people start off doing what they love, like we all did, but it takes them years to discover the business sides of it, how to make money from this. How it's not even about making millions. I think it's all mainly about just make a living from what you love.
I won't hit minimum wage for a while yet. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, of course. And how did
people think you've made it because you post a couple of things on Twitter you were proud of?
Yeah.
Nah. No, sir.
Half of those I didn't get paid for. Come on.
But what Kurt is saying is true. You got to develop like a business head, a creative head, a manager head, someone who's talking to clients.
And a fun head.
A legal hat.
And a funny hat, yeah.
I think...
Yeah, and a funny hat. I love I never take mine off. I probably should at some point.
I'm wearing it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did you personally manage this? How did you get from do what you love to straight up business mindset?
Oh, trial by fire. I am someone who learns by doing, and I will not do until my ass is literally on fire with the things that must be done if I need to continue doing this. So, every time people ask me, like, where do you get these jobs from? Or like, how do I find work? Or whatever. Literally, I am not kidding you. 90% of my life is sitting at my computer with 1,000 tabs open on every freelancer website known to man, every social media website known to man with various search terms, like every casting website one can afford, doing classes, sending 1,000 emails, as many emails as you can every single day and making them personal enough that people don't just straight up delete them, actually researching the people that you're reaching out to, finding those people in the first place.
Remember them, what they taught you.
Yeah, exactly. Remembering them, making sure that your CRM is in check. So if you're someone like me who forgets literally everyone and everything and what they ate for breakfast this morning, except I'll never forget what I ate for breakfast this morning because it's the same every single day. Thanks, Dad.
What is it?
It's just like bacon and eggs and like
beautiful.
A rice cake with ivar on it. Do you know what ivar is? It's like what's it called? Capsicum,
right? Yeah.
Pepper.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Stuff. It's great. Yeah, and feta cheese. Anyway, so yeah, business.
Okay.
Sorry.
So that, like, there's so much, and like people think that I'm joking every time I say when I get these messages saying, hey, where do you find VO work? And I'm like, everywhere, all of the time, literally everywhere. And I get, but which websites? And I'm like, literally all of them.
All of them, yeah.
All of them. Anywhere where you can find casting for voiceover, any business you can find that potentially casts for voiceover, every website you can post the work that you're currently working on, all the time, every day.
I love that you bring that up and that you also bring up the hustling part of it and the CRM, which stands for Customer Relationship Management Tool.
Yes, thank you.
There's not a lot of people that I know that use such a tool. I also use such a tool and it's great. And it really helps you getting those jobs. If you send up a follow-up for like in 2 months, you're going to talk to the person in the very right time. So you probably end up getting this job. It's perfect.
Yeah, and it depends what works best for each person too. Like I looked at a whole bunch of CRMs that required monies and stuff and like none of them worked for me. I found the best thing that worked for me was integrating it into my actual project management. So, which is working really great actually, because now I can track which projects go to actually which client and like all the communications, and there's like automations on there to trigger follow-ups, and all of the information is in there, all of my comments, all my notes.
People don't see this.
No, people don't.
They don't see it. No, they see me post a tweet about some collaboration I did last
and
3 months ago.
people see our shiny Instagrams and he got a new car. He got to be so rich. Life is so easy. No.
It's so much work. But that's the thing. That's like I still love it because I do love those like begrudging tasks sometimes. Like I will bitch and moan a little bit about how much time it takes to generate all of that social media content and actually set it up and post it with the correct tags and the correct promo of the thing, and then trying to pull something out of your ass to be like, I have no posts to go out this week, and then next week you have 5 for the one day and you're
Nina.
like, I need to space these out. And it's so much work. And can you afford to hire a freelancer to do that for you? No, you cannot. You know why? Because there are so many people who will do someone's phone system voiceover for $5 that person is going to use for their company for the next 5 years. That's $1 per year they paid you
Welcome to
use
Fiverr.
your voice for their business.
I just wanted to mention it. Welcome to Fiverr, to the beautiful world of Fiverr, where you get $5 for something.
The thing is, though, a lot of people on Fiverr don't charge $5. It's called Fiverr because it's supposed to be for like cheaper, more accessible freelancers. But a lot of people don't actually charge that, and you shouldn't feel like you need to. At all, because literally put into perspective what they're paying for.
Know your worth.
And yeah, exactly. 100% know your worth, and start somewhere that is reasonable to you. Of course, everyone needs to start somewhere. As I said, I still do some work for free if I really want to. If I love that project and their budget isn't there, I'll do it. But I'm the one who has the discretion. I'm the one who says, this is what your project is worth me spending my time, which is my money on, and this is how much it's going to be. I always say this includes exactly this type of usage for this period of time. And then if they say, oh, that's too much for usage, I will explain to them why it costs that much for that usage. Because the thing is, as I said, for example, if you're doing a phone message for someone, they have complete ownership to use that 24 hours a day for every customer who calls their business to hear your voice promoting their business and being their customer service rep for the X period of time until they replace you with someone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a lot of time and a lot of usage. It might not be commercial usage, it's not sales, but it's still incredibly valuable for the amount of time that you put into training your voice to be able to do that, to get the inflections correct when you're saying hello to their customers.
Yeah, exactly.
To be able to do that work on top of how long they're not going to need you to repeat that work.
Yeah, true.
What's your advice for young SAE graduates to go to that point where you actually know your worth, where you know when to do something for free and when not?
Oh, it's so hard, hey. So when I started getting to that point was when I started spending more time working on free stuff because people were casting me for it or asking me to do it versus putting that time into building my long-term business. So the thing is, yes, you need something there for your portfolio. So you need to ask yourself, is what's currently in my portfolio stuff that I'm proud of that I actually want to work on moving forward? Because what's in your portfolio is the type of work that you'll get because people who like that will give you the work.
Right. Yeah, true.
So if you don't have that, then try to find that specific work to do to build that portfolio. But then once you have that, your time is more well spent doing the one-on-one marketing, building the relationships, doing all of that stuff, using the work that you've done while also trying to actually, like in terms of voiceover, I respond to casting calls. I do auditions as they come up, as many as I can. But anytime I'm not doing an audition or working on an actual job, I will be sitting there emailing people, connecting on LinkedIn, like following people on Twitter, finding all the information about like game companies and all this stuff that I can all the time. Any possible moment that I can that I'm not working on a business plan or like doing invoices or
just hustling.
Whatever. By the way, send your invoice when you send the final delivery. Whoever says, no, I'm going to I send my invoices every Monday. No, because you will forget and you will miss stuff. Just literally put the Google Drive link to the stuff you're delivering to the client inside the invoice and send it as the delivery so that there's no excuse for them to miss it. And you don't miss it.
Such great business tips.
I haven't had anyone miss an invoice yet.
Nice.
Dear God, that's so important. Jesus Christ.
Hashtag pro tips from the amateur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how can people contact you if they want to know more about you, more about your voiceover work, your career on Twitch? Where can they reach you?
So I have, this is why social media takes 1,000 years every week. I have 2 different brands. One of them is my Twitch one, which is at KidKerrigan everywhere on every social media. KidKerrigan.tv is the website for that. If you want to learn about my content creation stuff and my super duper chill, quiet, very no cam streams. If you want to hire some whimsical and dependable voiceover who gets you retail ready voiceover within 24 hours if you need it, you can find that at voicesofnina.com or Nina@voicesofnina.com is my email, or @voicesofnina is all of the social media you need for that too.
We will all put all of that in the show notes anyway.
Just in case you forget, like me, in the next 5 seconds.
Okay. Then, Nina, thank you so much for coming to our show.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I appreciate it
That was
much.
a loaded episode. Yeah, thank you very much.
I told you. I never shut up, and you need to
It's great. Great, absolutely.
I have so much to say at all times.
But it's also interesting.
If anyone ever wants to... well, that's the thing. I always have something to say about business stuff like that and project management and acting. So definitely message me if anyone wants to talk about any of that business.
Do it.
So much insight, for real. All right. So thank you very much, Nina. And maybe talk to you soon in a year or 2. Who knows? And we would love to have you back.
See where we go.
All right. Everyone else, thank you very much for listening, and see you guys in 2 weeks. Peace out.
See you. Goodbye.
Bye. Have a good time.